Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening, Bhante, and now this is the time. So once again, thank you very much for Bhante to give us this opportunity to learn. Now I hand over it to you, Ratu.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Ajahn. So I'm going to start again with references and precepts. Do I need to put up the document? Yes,
Yeah.
no, yes, no.
Yeah, I've just made you
Yes,
on
I'll
co-host.
put the deck. Okay, I'll put the document up. Just a minute. I shall share my document. Where are you? It's hiding. Where are you? Oh, screen. Documents. No. Screen. Hold on. 1 second. I thought I had it up. Okay. Right, try again. Share. Screen. Share. Okay. I should be able to move that down. Yeah, good. Okay. So if you wish to bow in any way that makes sense to you, if you're not actually on the floor, I'm sitting on an armchair, so. Bodhan pujami. Dhammang pujami. Sanghang pujami. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Bodhang saranang gacchami. Dhammang saranang gacchami. Sanghang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi bodhang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi bodhang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami. Panati pata veramani sikapadang samadhiyami. Adina dana veramani sikapadang samadhiyami. Kame sumi chachara veramani sikapadang samadhiyami. Musawada veramani sikapadang samadhiyami. Sura meraya majja pamadatana veramani sikapadang samadhiyami. Idame sila maggapalanyanasa pachayo hotu. The path is established on our faith, on our confidence. So if we sit for a while, I'll just take this off. So again, just make sure that your posture is nicely energized. Just lifting up as best you can through the top of the head. Spend a moment relaxing. So the brow, eyes gently closed. The jaw, lips together, teeth apart. You can always clench your teeth and then relax if there's any tension there. Um, Binod, can you put your microphone on? Off, rather. That Binod? Can you hear me? Thank you. And then the shoulders, always often a lot of tension in the shoulders. Give them a good squeeze. And just hands resting on the lap, whatever's comfortable. Put a bit of accent on the out breath to relax a bit more. Just hold it for a second and just let go. Just putting aside all our worries, all our excitements and planning. And then just gently rest the attention wherever you feel the breath most. If you find noting, just little notes rising, falling, if it's in the body, in, out, out, at the nostrils, if you find that useful, just to keep your attention steady, then use it. But we're feeling the sensations caused by the breath. If the mind is wandering, just note what it's doing, what it's getting caught up in. Just thinking, is it worrying? Is it planning? Draw it back to the breath. If you're beginning to feel a bit tired, dull-minded, you can always lift the spine a bit more. You can always open the eyes a little. Just allowing these gentle sensations to bring silence to the mind, calmness to the heart, and stillness to the body. As you begin to feel more relaxed, more one-pointed, catch the very beginning and very end of the in-breath, the beginning and very end of the out-breath. Don't push yourself forward. Don't tense up. Have the impression of receiving the information. Just sit back within yourself. And when you feel still enough, steady enough, just open up to whatever draws your attention within that field of awareness. Feel it. Be aware of any reaction of wanting and not wanting. Don't do anything. Don't change anything. Just watch. Just feel. It's enough. A moment's reflection. Just bring to mind something that came up during the meditation. One of the hindrances, some irritation, some dullness and lethargy, some restlessness, whatever. How did you deal with it? How did you use it to see the three characteristics of existence? How we create suffering for ourselves, impermanence, not self. And perhaps you can form a resolution around that, such as next time I feel a bit dozy, I'll open my eyes immediately. So we can practice a little metta. Remember that vipassana doesn't have metta as such or compassion as such. It's implied, you might say. The quality of equanimity is foremost. Calmness, tranquility, passaddhi, and equanimity, upekkha. And if we're not careful, these corrupt into a sort of indifference, a laziness. So we have to re-engage, and that's the purpose of metta. So the should we say, traditional blessings, or the blessings I use anyway. May you be safe, well and happy, and may you live contented in harmony with the world. But feel free to use whatever you're used to. So we can bring to mind someone who's helped us in our lives. As you picture them there in your mind's eye, drive your good intentions towards them. May you be safe, well, and happy. May you live contented in harmony with the world. We can bring to mind those who are near and dear to us. We can bring to mind friends, people at work, whomever we wish. We can bring to mind a neutral person. That's someone we see but don't know. turning the stream of goodwill and loving kindness towards ourselves. And into the heart of goodwill, we can bring someone we're having difficulties with. Radiating outwardly, first of all, to each other, our present spiritual companions. May we radiating outwardly towards our neighbors and neighborhood. All the people in our country, all the peoples of Europe, or if you're in the States, all the peoples of North America. To all people on earth, and to all beings in all directions. May all beings be happy. Sabe sata sukita hontu. Sabe sata sukita hontu. Sabe sata sukita hontu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Am I right? One or two of you are in America. Have I understood that? Vernon, are you in America?
We have Vernon and Charlie.
Yes, I'm in the Seattle area. Charlie lives a little bit north of us and up near the Canadian border, near Vancouver.
So what time is it?
It's just approaching noon here now.
Okay. Right. Okay. Just wondered how you made it. Okay. So tonight I'm going to cheat a little. I want to play a recorded talk, which I play every retreat. And it's really to get across to us the suffering that's involved in attachment and indulgence, which, of course, our culture really pushes us into. So if you will just be patient with me a second. Namo tassa. Okay, we're getting there slowly but surely. Where are you? So I'm going to share sound. Computer audio, share. Okay. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Can you hear that? Yeah, great. Homage to the Buddha, the blessed, noble, and fully self-awakened. I'll come back. Okay, so the first day, it's a bit of a car crash, really, isn't it? I mean... Oops, sorry. I don't know what that is. I'll try again. Excuse me. Wrong talk. Here we go. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Buddha, the blessed, noble, and fully self-awakened one. So this is a talk about eating meditation, or using the process of eating for purposes of becoming fully liberated. So the first thing is, how bad can greed get? Erixtheton, the Greek king of Thessaly, had a temerity to build a banqueting hall over the shrine of Demeter, goddess of earth's fertility and protector of the harvest. In Rome, she became Ceres, from which we get the word cereal.
she cursed him with insatiable hunger. First, he ate everything there was to eat in his kingdom. Then he started on his people and even ate his own family. Still famished, he ate himself. While I was staying at Kandabodha Meditation Center in Sri Lanka, a man told me that once when out in the wilds he'd got lost, and over a period of a few days became so hungry that when he finally caught a pigeon, he ripped it open and ate it raw. He was a good meditator. Hopefully we will not have to suffer such extreme conditions. Even so, there are other good reasons to investigate the process of eating, to distinguish between enjoying and indulging, to distinguish between the body and the mind, that is, sensations from emotions and thoughts, to distinguish between a desire and an action, the role of the will. So now, coming to distinguish between enjoying and indulging, we will want to make that distinction when we come to realize the suffering that indulgence causes. The first complication that arises from indulgence is attachment and compulsive behavior. When we indulge some unwholesome but pleasing habit, it means that we are using something to create a certain mental state that we enjoy. It's not the biscuit we want, but the mental state it produces, be it happy or comforting. But this also produces a dependency, and just like any addict, we're compelled to raid the biscuit box. Only a strong act of will and refusal to have biscuits in the house can break the habit. It is precisely at the time we renounce the biscuit that we suffer the strength of that habit and the hold it has on us. But of course the potential is always there. Just as a person who gives up smoking and after a long time thinks they're immune to becoming habituated, on surrendering at a party to have just one, find themselves buying a packet. That is, attachment is none other than a dependency on something, or indeed someone, to create a mental state of happiness. The second complication is the suffering of frustration. Anger arises when we can't get what we want, or what we want is denied us. We live at a time of almost immediate gratification. Consider fast food. Amazon has spent millions on delivery, knowing that to satisfy a customer as quickly as possible is to ensure their loyalty. You want some beer, non-alcoholic, of course. We'll get it to you tomorrow. We can even be angry with ourselves for forgetting to buy tea or coffee. We get angry if the bus, the train, the taxi is late. We get angry if someone doesn't turn up for a meeting. Frustration doesn't help. It just burns us. The third is grief. The misery we feel when we have to diet. The shock we suffer when we lose a mobile. The distress of leaving an expensive hat or bag behind in a restaurant only to find it has disappeared. But although we believe in possessing things, in reality we can only use them. If a thief has run off with our mobile, for all intents and purposes it is their mobile, no matter how much we keep moaning and complaining of the loss of my mobile. And grief takes on a different intensity when we lose a spouse, partner, family member, friend. Fourthly, there's anxiety, which always sits beneath everything we possess. The run on flour, pasta, and bewilderingly toilet paper at the start of the lockdown is driven by fear of what may or may not happen in the future. The more we possess, the more we feel loss. And the more we have to possess, to cushion any blow. £1 billion to a billionaire cannot be enough. They must cushion it by moving towards $1 trillion. We're afraid of loneliness, so we build up a coterie of friendships and lots of things to do. We feel insecure, so we accumulate excessive insurance or power, which manifests in controlling and bullying. Finally, there is boredom. Now, if you remember Mara, the evil tempter, the sensual life personified, sent his 3 daughters to inveigle the Buddha to return to the good life, sensual pleasure, sexual pleasure, and boredom. Boredom is that state where what once gave such pleasure and excitement is now stale, overindulged, and unpleasing. It is an aversive state, and to escape it, we seek some other pleasure. Variety is the spice of life, is the basic motto of the consumerist. Consider the foodies who choose their holidays depending on a variety of restaurants. And just as all the other consequences of indulgence can become mental illness, boredom can drive you into depression. Indeed, what would be the purpose of living when there is nothing or anyone who can raise any degree of excitement? Here lies the distinction between happiness and excitement. True happiness is based on contentment. Excitement that passes for true happiness is based on an insatiable appetite for the new and the thrill. This excitement is what fuels consumerism, and the underlying engine is boredom, caused by the lack of excitement, that drives the consumer to seek relief in more excitement. This is none other than the psychology of addiction. Just as a drug addict feels normal when under the influence and abnormal when in need, so the consumer feels they have to buy something or go somewhere, do anything that excites, no matter how little, in order to feel happy. Retail therapy is no therapy at all. It's an addiction. The second noble truth states that the cause of suffering is the insatiable thirst which generates moment-to-moment becoming, accompanied by obsessive indulgence, finding fresh excitement now here, now there, namely the insatiable hunger for sensual pleasures, for continued becoming and non-becoming. So, what do we do? Well, first of all, we need to make a clear distinction between the body and the mind, between, on the one hand, sensations and physical feelings, and on the other hand, the heart-mind with its emotions and moods, thoughts and imagination. This is part of the endeavour to undermine the sense of self, the wrong view of self. This is the sense we have of being one entire undivided integer, a single uncompounded being, whole and absolute. By drawing apart what the body does through the senses and what the heart-mind does, is to begin to realize that we are but a compound made up of many pieces, all depending on each other to create an embodied person. We are beginning to undermine this delusion. I am what I feel or think I am. Secondly, we need to distinguish a desire from an action. This will give us that chink of freedom where we can change the conditioning we don't want to a conditioning we do want. Remember, our personality is but a collection of habits and will always be so. Our work is to rid ourselves of habits that bring any degree of suffering and dissatisfaction and develop those that bring a sense of well-being. So long as there is only a desire, nothing has actually happened. It remains an idea laced with the energy of wanting. It arises out of a state of discomfort and is itself uncomfortable till gratified. If we are fully aware of a desire, we will not be caught up in its demands, but will have the occasion to ask whether it is wholesome, whether it's beneficial to myself, to another, or both myself and another. If we determine it is unwholesome, all we have to do is bear with the desire until it burns itself out. In so doing, the habit that it expresses is weakened and will eventually lose all power over us. If a desire is judged to be wholesome, well, then we empower it. It produces an act of body, speech and mind. This reinforces the habit. In this quite simple way we can change ourselves, though, as we discover, it's not easy. We need a highly alert attentiveness, or we are quickly gratifying those habits we don't want, and so developing them. In the Brahmya Sutta, there's a passage describing how the Buddha receives food and eats it. Here he's described what he actually experiences. He takes the food experiencing the taste, though not experiencing greed for the taste. In other words, just the pleasant sensations. This is on occasion chanted by monastics at mealtimes. Food I take has 8 factors. It is neither for amusement or for intoxication, indulgence, or for the sake of physical beauty or attractiveness, but only for the endurance and continuance of my body, for ending discomfort and assisting the spiritual life. I consider, thus I shall terminate old unwholesome feelings without arousing new unwholesome feelings, and I shall be healthy and blameless and live in comfort. Now, what we're developing is an attitude, and an attitude is a way of relating. It's not specific to a particular object. So as we undermine greed around food, we're undermining all indulgence, for the same psychology appears to everything that delights us. Whether it's sensual pleasure, art, nature, even people and animals, the same problem of attachment arises. Once we've understood, I repeat, that attachment is a psychological dependency on some object or other for happiness, we begin to be more aware of other dependencies and slowly begin to let go of all obsessiveness. The Buddha tells us the taste of Nibbana is freedom. It's freedom from unwholesome desires. Now, a warning. I once sat next to a monk who, by the look of him, you would presume a true ascetic, hollow-cheeked and gaunt. When the delicious fruit salad with buffalo curd was offered, he placed it before him, and while the other monks continued to eat, he simply stared at the bowl. As we were finishing, he picked up the bowl and as quick as lightning spooned it down his throat. Now, of course, I may be judging him very wrongly, but it seemed to me that he was afraid of enjoying the food for fear of indulging. Such an attitude, if taken to all we enjoy, would turn life into a sour grape. As always, in our spiritual practice, we have to tread that narrow path between direct enemies and subtle enemies of virtues. Here, between indulgence and self-mortification. The pleasures and joys of life are a human birthright, but they come and go like everything else. What are we actually holding on to? In conclusion, then, since our personality is made up of a compendium of habits, our psychotherapeutic task is to liberate ourselves from their control, but not the habit itself when it is wholesome. After all, we have to eat. So our task when it concerns anything which is pleasurable and enjoyable is to begin to experience what it is like to enjoy and not indulge. Our insight task is to see clearly how we create suffering, suffer the renunciation of unskillful desires, arrive at unalloyed joy. I can only hope my words have been of some assistance, that they have not caused confusion, and that by your careful, attentive eating you will liberate yourself from all suffering.
I don't know. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. No, I don't know what you thought of that. I don't know if you got any questions or.
Can you stop the sharing, Bhante? So then.
Oh, is that it? Oh, yeah. Just a minute. It stopped. No, it stopped.
Yeah.
It should have stopped. No, it stopped. All right. It has stopped. No,
No, still sharing. Stop.
still sharing. That's very strange.
Anyway,
If
that's okay.
I put share. Okay.
So anybody want to ask a question to Bhante, or anyone wants to share your experiences?
Yes. Any reflections? Well, you can always email them to me afterwards. If there's any. I just think. Yeah, I just think this is an important topic, really. Sorry, who was going to speak?
May
Rose.
I ask?
Oh,
Okay.
yes, Rose.
May I respect the master? May I ask a quick question? I have found that my practice has come to the stage of being stagnated. Because what the master being guided, I've been through already, which not just only one time, but it has because I have been practicing regularly. So it's been really steady, solid, and get to the point it has been stagnant to the point that I need to. My question is, has there any way or chance to progress more normally?
Well, sometimes it's good to go on a retreat. Can you get onto a retreat? You know, working with people can be encouraging. You know, I'd have to talk to you a bit more personally, really, to find out where what you mean by being stuck. But I'd have to know what system you're working with.
I have practicing exactly like this one, the one that you just been guided. So it's been normal. Yeah, it's been normal to me to the stage that I wonder if there is any stage to progress further.
Yeah.
Normally.
No, I think if you get into ideas of progress,
yes,
you really become necessarily disappointed, because when we have ideas of progress, we're moving towards an idea, even if it's not something we can define clearly. So we're always wanting to be other than we are.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it creates this dissatisfaction. So
my question is, yes, okay. My question is, because I live the present moment, I live the Buddha teaching, I live my every single day life. on those Buddha teaching. So it's very easy to live life. So I just wonder if there is any way more of the Buddha to step further, or for me to learn more normally.
Well, in terms of the meditation, it really
Yes.
is having a real confidence that all you have to do is watch the process. Forget the progress, just watch the process. What's happening in your mind, heart, and body? How are you relating to it? That's enough, you see. And if
Yes.
you to put if your meditation is, shall we say, difficult, or it's not exciting, etc., that's fine. And if you want to bring a bit of juice into your world, then practice metta, you see. Then practice metta. Metta, brings a beautiful state of mind. Or it could be compassion or joy, sympathetic joy. Just one of those would bring a sense of joy. But I think you might find that if you forget the idea of progress and just have complete faith that all you have to do is watch, observe, feel, and this wonderful quality of satipanya, this intuitive awareness, will do the work.
Yes. I noticed that anyway. Yes. Thank you.
And the other thing is to spend some time developing that quality at the beginning of a practice of just being calm, being peaceful. And that gives you a basis, you see, so that even if difficult things arise, emotions arise, memories, all that, there's always this ability to come back down and just be peaceful, just be calm. It's the basis, you see. There's lots of things like that.
Another question: when I practice while in silence for 21 days, it has a lot of inner peace, basically, during the Vassa season. But a lot of monks disagree with my wow silence. I just wonder, is it something against the Buddha teaching?
No, I'm surprised, really. Maybe they want you to do something else, but the vow of silence, I mean, that's going on retreat. That's what you do when you go on retreat. You make a vow not to speak to people, not to communicate, so that you can turn inward and observe this whole process, this dependence origination as a whole.
What I did exactly 21 days, but I still communicate in writing, still teaching, still sharing and helping other people, only just the necessary words, only in writing or just messages. But still working, you see, still working with people.
Well, it's up to you. It's up to you what how much time you want to spend just by yourself. I mean, every year I go away for 2 months. I disappear. Yeah.
And the master think that way. Is it the way to develop our inner peace, right? Because that's how I found it.
Well, the Buddha's instruction is meditate, meditate, meditate.
Yes. I know that.
I mean, we
I know
can't
that.
we can't do that all the time, obviously, but
I strongly.
it does help to spend some time in complete silence.
Exactly.
And sing, yeah.
Sadhu. Thank you, Master.
Okay, anybody? Any other person wants to share your practices or questions? No? Okay. So, in that case, we may have to end here for today, and then we'll come back next week. So, everybody, thank you very much, and we'll get to Bhante. Thank you very much for your teaching. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Toodaloo.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. And
Ta.